last February, February 10th, 2012, my whole life just changed pretty much overnight. The photos of the underwater dogs went viral, as you call it. What does that mean? I guess I found out. I didn't really know what the word viral meant up until February 10th, 2012. But essentially, I had these photos of these underwater dogs. I had done a brief series of these photographs because I thought it was interesting, and they were already posted online. Sometime on February 10th, somebody took one of the images of the underwater dogs and reposted it, I believe, on Reddit.com, but I'm not sure exactly because also Google Plus was happening. Anyways, somebody took one picture and reposted it somewhere on the internet, which created a whole spiral effect of the images moving into almost every single country in the world and being seen by hundreds of millions of people. And this all happened within a few hours.
Now, let's take it a step back from there because the people that I'm aiming this book at really are people, just like you, who might not consider that they have a need to be online. You're a small business. I tell people what your business was before all this happened.
Sure. The business is called Little Friends Lifestyle Pet Photography. I'm a pet photographer, an animal photographer, however you want to call me, it's fine. And people commission me to photograph their pets here in the United States, in Europe, Australia, etc. So if you have a pet, a dog, a cat, something else, and you want some nice photos that sort of showcase their personality, then you would come to me, you would hire me, and commission me to capture their personality in a series of photographs. So that's kind of the heart and soul of my business, is telling a story about your pet's personality through photographs. In addition to that, I also do licensing through publishing companies. So I offer images to calendars and books and magazines and greeting cards and puzzles. So I have that whole piece of the puzzle. And then I also have a nonprofit called Second Chance Photos, and that's just a volunteer thing. And I volunteer at animal shelters. I teach people how to take better pictures of homeless dogs and cats so that they can get adopted. So that's sort of the three pieces of my business.
So you had an idea to buy some underwater housing for your camera equipment. Now, as the media reported it, you kind of threw the last of your money at this sort of idea, and then, by all accounts, threw some dogs into your swimming pool and took photographs of them.
Yeah. I did an interview recently, and somebody asked me about this, and I'm quoted in there saying, "My friends said I was an idiot." I mean, I came across a dog called Buster, who was a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, and this is a commissioned photo shoot meant to be on land. He decided he would spend the entire time in the pool chasing a little tennis ball, jumping in the pool over and over again. And I thought, this is Buster, this is his story, this is his personality. I need to showcase him in the pool. The best way to do that, I don't know, maybe it's from under the water. So that's when I bought a little point and shoot camera, started experimenting with that, and then I started to get more serious when I bought this underwater camera case. I guess maybe a little over a year and a few months ago, with money I didn't have. So I didn't really have any money to even pay the bills. But I thought, well, I'm in this business because I love it, and I'm here to take chances. And I love trying to be an entrepreneur, and I thought this is something I've got to do. So I did. I spent a few $1,000s on the gear, and I took a chance on it. And so, here we are. So it's kind of been I don't know, kind of a lucky thing for me. It's still overwhelming.
Now, did you have any idea were you actually targeting sharing your work through these social networks to try and get some more business, or was it just a question of sharing the photos with some friends and it got picked up
No,
that
I
way?
mean, I definitely have always tried to embrace social media. I mean, I've had a Facebook page for a long time. Building my business, it's taken a while, several years to get to about 6,000 likes on Facebook. So that took several years to achieve 6,000 likes, and that was posting pretty consistently and really spending time and effort to get people to come follow along. I also have run a blog through my website, which I probably should try to post more often. Of course, I got on Twitter. I've been interested in Pinterest and Instagram and all these different avenues. But, now after seeing this underwater dog series take off, I mean, my Facebook page went from 6,000 likes to 120,000 organic followers in just a couple of months, which was just kind of mind blowing to me. But for me, I was already really embracing social media. I actually used Facebook almost almost entirely just Facebook advertising to promote my commission photo shoots. So I was going to be in Phoenix, for example, doing a tour. I would utilize social media, either paid advertising or other means through Facebook, to get people aware that I'll be arriving in Phoenix to do photo shoots. So I was already interested in social media, but I didn't quite understand the power of what can happen of the internet if something just goes crazy.
Now, obviously, Facebook, one of the great things for a small business like you, where you are, moving around the country, is the granular nature of being able to contact a specific interest group or a specific group in a particular area. Is that right? I mean, did you,
Oh yeah, it's
you said
brilliant.
you went to Phoenix. Yeah.
It's brilliant. I mean, and a lot of people, I think, are starting to realize the power of Facebook marketing. But I tried different avenues with marketing for my business. I used to go to dog parks and hand out business cards or post flyers. I even took out an ad one time at car washes in prominent places in Los Angeles. I've done post, Craigslist. I've done all kinds of stuff. And Facebook for me has been the most successful in terms of paid advertising up until, of course, February. But I would take out an ad campaign, for example, targeting targeting my client database, say people age 20 29 to 65 who like golden retriever or golden retrievers, 50-mile radius of Phoenix, and then send them an ad. Basically, send them an ad with a picture of a golden retriever that I've taken and alerting them that, hey, pet photographer Seth Casteel will be in Phoenix April 19th to the 23rd, accepting limited appointments for VIP photo shoots. So Facebook was really smart in that I can only send a message to people that may want to hire me, which was brilliant, and it worked out really, really well.
Now, obviously, the story then goes that Reddit picked it up and you became literally an overnight sensation. But what about the technical aspects of that? I mean, your website must have seen a huge boost in traffic, and that presumably came at a cost initially, right? Because you've got bandwidth, with so many more people suddenly being on your site. Were there
Oh,
any sort of things that you wish that you'd known it was going to happen so that you could prepare for it?
well, it's hard to really prepare for something like this. I mean, I was going from 200, maybe 200 unique visits a day on my website on a good day to, I don't know, I mean, millions. It was just absolutely ridiculous. So the way that I had my website set up, it wasn't good. It was actually, had I been able to predict something like this, I would have planned better. So my website was a Flash-based website, which unfortunately is not compatible with the iPad and the iPhone. So if you had an iPad or an iPhone trying to go to my website, first of all, you would get a splash page, but you wouldn't be able to see any of the content. So that was the number one mistake, is I had a Flash-based website. I wish I hadn't done that. Number two, I had a setup with my website host with limited bandwidth. So I was allowed, I don't know how many, several dozen concurrent connections, or maybe it's 100 concurrent connections so I couldn't have millions of people on my website at the same time. It just wasn't set up for that. And up until that point, there was no need for it. So I wouldn't have known that millions of people simultaneously would want to get on my website. No one can really plan for that. So what happened was I had a Flash-based site that some people couldn't get to, and then I had a site that had really limited bandwidth, limited access from the world. So a lot of people couldn't even get on my website. However, even though I may have missed out on some opportunities because of that, I think sometimes people are drawn to something they can't have. So you go to my website when all this is happening and you can't get to the pictures, and maybe your curiosity spikes. So I think maybe it hurt me on one level, but potentially helped me on another level, because on all the articles, all the interviews that I did, his website's crashed. He wasn't set up for this. People got even more curious. Oh my gosh, what's going on here? This is a frenzy. I can't. So it might have actually helped me in the long run. But had I done it again, I would have had an HTML based website early on, and I would have had a setup with a splash page at least that could accept unlimited concurrent connections. The one thing people should be careful about, yeah, you're right. If you open up the floodgates and you have a website hosting service where you pay for bandwidth, and you have 5 million people get onto your website and download your photographs, etc., you might have a bill of $100,000 in a matter of a day. So if you don't have it set up right, you got to be very careful because this has actually happened to people.
Yeah, absolutely. But then the plus side, obviously, what kind of shift in the nature of the orders, and how many, how many orders did you take, do you think, as a result of this sort of viral spreading of your images over the web?
Oh yeah, I mean it's been unbelievable. My business has completely changed. I mean, I was telling people before I was struggling to pay the bills, and now things have improved on business on all levels. Of course, the book deal is probably the most lucrative and exciting thing that's happened for me. With Little Brown, I've got a U.S. edition of my book, UK edition, and I have a German edition. It'll be distributed in over 100 countries. So that's probably been the most exciting thing for me. We'll see how the book does, but overall, it's changed. My business has changed my life just because of the book. I've also offered print sales. I offer an international print shop, which has been extremely successful. I think I've sold prints in over 40 countries, sold and shipped prints, limited edition, open edition prints all over the world. So that's been really fantastic. And then, of course, my commission photo shoots, which I used to struggle to find. Can I convince you to hire me to photograph your dog, for a few $100s? And now, my price point has gone up, and I have thousands of inquiries for commission shoots. I don't even have time to even think about doing most of them. So it's a good problem to have. I used to have not enough business, and now really I'm sort of overwhelmed with business, trying to figure out how to make the most of it.
Well, tell us about the book really quickly. What's it called? Where can people buy it from? Because I know it's coming out later this month, which is October as we're recording this. I, for one, am going to be first in the queue because I love your pictures.
The book's
But yeah,
called Underwater Dogs. The Underwater Dogs title is for U.S. and U.K. editions, and then of course in Germany it's Hunde unter Wasser. So the book will be out October 23rd in the U.S. and October 25th in the U.K. It's I've just seen a copy of it for the first time. The design is beautiful. It's a hardcover book. Um, it's really a high-end gift book, which is really great for your coffee table. It's about 144 pages, nearly 90 photos, and dozens of never-before-seen shots, including of 12-week-old puppies diving into the water voluntarily, a
oh,
pug, a wolf. I mean, there's all kinds of new characters. I'm just really excited to share all the new photos with everybody. I went out and shot the book last March and April, so I've known about these photos for a while, but now I'll finally be able to reveal these photos out to the world. So I'm really happy about it.
the first time you took an underwater camera into the pool and took a photograph of a dog jumping in, when you saw those first photographs, did you have any clue that they were going to be so amusing and characterful? And I mean, because they really do, they have such personality, the dogs, don't they? Did
Oh,
you have any idea that you were going to get that kind of result when you did it?
oh no, I would have had no idea. I mean, this is the beauty of photography is you can, especially with digital photography nowadays, you could try something, you could fail, you could try something, you could fail, you could try something and you succeed. But buying this little point and shoot camera going underwater with this Cavalier King Charles, just an experiment. I had no clue what it would look like if the dog would translate in an interesting photograph underwater. I mean, I had no idea what it would even look like. So for me, this was a really nice surprise. But then here's this dog. I have one nice picture of this dog. Will this work with other dogs? I don't know. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. And sure enough, it did. So it was just an experiment. I thought, for me, I recognize that dogs have a connection with the water, and the water presents them with a really fantastic way to explore their wild instincts. It allows their emotions to really come through, and I think this is why people love dogs so much, is their personality, their expressions. People have a connection with dogs. They have a friendship with dogs because we can relate to them. They can relate to us. The water just allows dogs to shine, and it allows them to really showcase the best of their emotions, whether it be hilarious or serious or primal or wild or ridiculous or whatever the word is. The water helps them to do that. It's one way for them to do that. And so it's just been really exciting for me because I love the emotion of dogs. That's my whole thing. I love the emotion of dogs, and this has just been a great project for me to tell these dogs' story in the water.
And finally, then, just it's tough at the moment. Since 2008, since the recession globally hit, there's a lot of people in the UK and around the world, I'm sure, who've lost their jobs and are looking for ways that they can maybe start their own business or get a bit of an income. Um, any advice for people about what they should, how they can maybe try and use the internet, how important the internet is? What would your advice be to people like you? If you remember back to when you were first sort of saying, oh, should I buy this piece of equipment for, thousands of dollars? What would you say to them?
So my advice to people on how they could use the internet to succeed.
Hmm.
Wow, that's kind of a little bit of a tricky question, but I would just say, oop, can you still see me? Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say to people who want to build a business and they want to succeed, and whatever they're doing, the power of the internet is phenomenal. I mean, it's something that I haven't really been able to understand until this all happened. You know, depending on what you're doing, it's hard for me to give you advice. I would just say try to embrace the internet as best as you possibly can, all the various resources of the internet, especially social media, because it can change your life overnight. I mean, it did mine. In terms of specific advice, it's hard for me to tell you that because I don't
Is there
know.
any is there any advice that you would give yourself specifically? If you could go back to, just before this all happened and give yourself one piece of advice, is there anything specifically that you would say to yourself then?
Oh, for me, on how to improve what happened,
Yeah.
I would say that I handled it pretty well, but I would also say to people who are in a situation where something like this could happen, you wouldn't even know that. Uh, be ready to act fast. It's a limited opportunity. It's a limited window. I mean, I was given an opportunity out of nowhere. There's nothing and now there's something, and I just tried to take advantage of it and do as best I possibly could. But I would say to people, if anything like this happens to you, just jump on it, seize every moment, seize every opportunity, hire people to help you. I think I would have hired more people to help me. I was trying to do this mostly on my own, and I was overwhelmed doing interviews and handling print orders and flying places, and I didn't really have a lot of help. So could I do it again? I would have hired a team of people, especially a publicist, or a team of publicists to help me build my brand during those first weeks. Um, yeah, but I think we actually did a pretty good job. I mean, I think I was given an opportunity. I had no idea what was going on, and I tried to jump on it. But I don't know. It's a really tough thing. I can't even explain the feeling that I had. It's just overwhelming. And oh my gosh, I said, oh my gosh, I just can't miss this opportunity. I mean, it was like you win the lottery, and you have a couple of days to take your ticket in and collect it. You know, and you just got to make sure you get there in time before your lottery ticket expires.